Oh! Okay, one more time. Oh! Well, yes. So, if I had to summarize Bubble Ghost on the Commodore 64, that is your complete experience. It's just complete rage quit, just getting frustrated, and you keep playing because this is a very fun game. Lately, I was checking out those games which I played on Commodore 64 when I was 6 years old, and I was checking out the games, and I'm going to make a video about all of those games. And Bubble Ghost, I remember Bubble Ghost playing it, and now I replayed it, and it's surprisingly holding up very well. Apart from the frustration when your bubble is just popping, because you see, all you have to do is just take a little ghost and just keep like float your bubble throughout this like its so-called castle, which full with obstacles. And I think you got about 50 levels. Some of them are quite easy, and some of them are just rage inducing. However, the game is like fair, and it's really enjoyable game. So today we're going to take a look at Bubble Ghost. So let's get started. Originally released in 1987 by Infogrames, Bubble Ghost was the brainchild of Christoph Aubut. While it started on the Atari ST, the Commodore 64 port is often cited as one of the best way to play. However, I had to admit that the graphics on Atari are more smoother and nicer. Anyway, as you probably guessed by now, you control a small mischievous ghost whose only goal is to blow a bubble through a haunted mansion. It sounds simple, right? Just 35 stages between you and victory. But in Bubble Ghost, the environment is your biggest enemy. This isn't just a move from A to B game. You have to manage the bubble's momentum. You don't have direct control over the bubble, you only control the ghost and the direction of his breath. But there is no different options how strong you can blow the bubble, which make things more challenging. You need to figure out how far away you want to blow the bubble. The controls on the Commodore 64 feels remarkably tight. You can rotate 360 degrees to fine-tune your angle, and the puff of air has a distinct weight to it. If you blow too hard, the bubble gains too much speed and hits a wall or anything basically. If you are too timid, it drifts into a hazard. It's a constant game of gentle persuasion and how to pronounce this. And when you finally navigate a tight corridor, it's incredibly satisfying. And you will always curious what the next room would hold, and if you manage to get there, you get a spike of joy on realizing that the next stage is a proper nightmare. There are, let's say, puzzles or switches on most stages, like you have to blow a candle, or a spider from its web, or blow a flute, and stuff like this to make objects disappear, or to turn off a fan, for example. These interactions on the map makes the game more fun. Of course, your bubble will pop many times and you will rage, but the game is quite fair. You're awarded an extra life each time you successfully clear rooms 5, 11, 17, 23 and 29. So it is not a sadistic game, but still your lives are going to erode very fast. As you progress, the game stops being about simple movement and starts being about timing. You will encounter fans that blow your bubble, of course, candles that you have to blow out before passing, and even electrical spikes. Stage 5 is usually the first wall for new players, but stick with it. The game rewards patience over reflexes. I found myself slowing down, planning my route through each room, and that's where the fun really lives. It's a zen-like experience, right up until you pop and have to start the room over. Let's talk about the presentation. For a game from the late 80s, the graphics on the Commodore 64 are very nice. The ghost has these expressive little eyes, and the way he puffs out of his cheeks is a great bit of character animation. And if you're blowing too hard, too long, the ghost actually turns red. That's some attention to detail here. Each of the 35 rooms designed cleverly, and has a cool haunted mansion vibe. And then there's the SID chip. The Commodore 64 is famous for its audio, and while the music here is minimal to keep you focused on the tension, the sound effects, the whoosh of your breath, and the tragic pop of the bubble are iconic. It builds an atmosphere that's spooky, but never truly scary. It's more like Casper than Poltergeist. And here's where it gets interesting for you retro fans. As I mentioned, this was Christoph Aubut's first game. It's fascinating to see his early work here because he later became a key figure at Infogrames, working on the groundbreaking Alone in the Dark. You can see that same interest in environmental puzzles starting right here. Another fun fact, The game was a hit across almost every platform. It went to the Amiga, the Apple II, and even the Game Boy. But there's a specific warmth to the Commodore 64 version. The color palette of the Commodore system really suits the Haunted Mansion theme perfectly. Or maybe it's just me, because I played this game a lot in my childhood. So how the game holds up? Absolutely well. A lot of 8-bit games are hard because of bad programming or unfair glitches. Bubble Ghost is hard because the mechanic is demanding. It's honest difficulty. I thoroughly enjoyed replaying this. It's a testament to how a simple, well-executed idea can outlast flashy graphics. If you have a Commodore 64 or an emulator, give this one a spin. Just remember to bring some spare patience, and if you're playing on a Commodore 64, do not break the precious quickshot joystick, it's very expensive nowadays. So, should you play Bubble Ghost? Yes. Despite there is a remake has been released, I don't know, last year, and it's released I think on Switch and on PC and probably on PlayStation as well. But I prefer this one because the old school graphics, and it still has a charm. This 8-bit graphic on Commodore 64. Okay, the music is typical Commodore 64, so it's better to turn it down because it's a bit like it's not good for ears. But the game it still holds up very well. The controls are good, the levels are fun. Yeah, it depends what you call fun, because I was rage quitting so many times on this game that I was just but it's a bit of addictive. It's like you just want to try, okay, one more time. But so yes, definitely give this one a try. It's a very old game, but it's still very fun to play, and another example why we love to play old school games, because some of them holds up very well and it's still fun to play even nowadays. And if you would like to see another game which I had a similar experience with it, which was frustrated me and I rage quitted on it, but I couldn't stop playing it because it's so addictive, check out my Kururin, I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's Kururin on the Game Boy Advance, and if you would like to maintain your blood pressure, try it. And thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to see you in the next BacklogQuest video. Bye bye!